If you're like me, you're constantly on the lookout for awesome, functional stuff to 3D print. Well, fear not, because in this video, we're taking a look at 12 incredible designers pushing the limits of 3D printing, each with dozens or even hundreds of jaw-dropping, practical models that you just have to check out. And don't worry, because I've also spent the hours and the kilos of filament handpicking and testing some of the most interesting and exciting models from each one of them. Let's get after it. Later on in the video, we're going to work our way up to the strictly practical things like tools and organizers. But before we do that, let's take a look at some designers who take that kind of fanciful, cute plastic trinkets reputation that 3D printing has developed and combat it by adding real-world uses in every single design. And I can think of no better example of this than ForgeCore, also known as Colby. With ForgeCore, a fake plant is never just a fake plant. It's a coaster set. A plastic sushi roll is a weekly pill container. And a 3D printed water lily becomes a coaster for your wine glass in the bathtub. No comment on that one. But that's just the beginning. I mean, have a look at some of these incredibly cool designs. What's more, ForgeCore is perhaps best known for his unique tabletop games, including his Playbook series, which turns classic games into space-saving book designs, complete with piece organization and very clever use of magnets to keep the pieces put during gameplay. Now, I printed one of these out for my 5-year-old son, and it has brought he and I more enjoyment than anything I've printed in a very, very long time. So I highly recommend that you check these out. Now, we'll drop a link to Colby's YouTube channel and his thanks page below should you wish to pick up any of his designs, which does support the channel in the process at no cost to any of these designers. Up next, we have Gazzaladra, aka Johannes, another designer turning novelty items into useful everyday objects. From his very popular mushroom shelves, to photo egg organizers, to his pasta planters and bowls, Johannes is a real innovator when it comes to taking realistic 3D scans of real-world objects and then giving them a hidden purpose. I guess you could say he puts the fun in functional kill me. But it's not all cute and novelty stuff. In fact, I have actually coincidentally purchased and printed a bunch of his models throughout the years without even putting 2 and 2 together. I mean, just check out some of these awesome designs. Now, if any of these tickle your fancy, just head down to the link in the description for all the different links to all his different socials. While we're on the theme of novelty items turned functional, let's take a look at LeHa Design, which really only recently came across my radar. Run by Christoph and Patricia, LeHa Design takes the cutesy element of 3D printing to 11 while still managing to offer functionality in many of their designs. Admittedly, their designs do skew a little further to the fun side of the scale than I normally would find myself, but I did find a number of prints ranging from a candy dispenser to a piggy bank, drill bit storage, and even this adorable toilet paper dispenser that I just had to print. Oh, and given how passionate I am about filament recycling, I might just have to print out their sifting machine for the IKEA Samla box. Now, with 2 kids at home, each of whom gets invited to like 20+ birthday parties a year, this is one design team that I am definitely bookmarking in hopes that they create even more of these ingenious, functional prints. Switching gears, let's take a look at some designers pushing the limits of 3D printed home decor, using the unique capabilities of the technology to create stunning prints that serve a purpose around the house. First, we have Modern Machine. Now, we've probably all 3D printed a vase or a planter in the past, but with over 600 free and paid models, Modern Machine is in a whole different league. From unique pendant lamps that intelligently use bridging and overhangs, to planter pots and desk lamps that would be absolutely impossible to manufacture using traditional methods. Honestly, very few designers out there are as prolific as Nestor, and it can be hard to keep up with all the incredible stuff that he is churning out. I mean, just have a look at these designs. We'll leave a link down below where you can pick up some of his models, and for those of you who are interested in starting your own 3D printing business, you'll be very happy to hear that he also offers a commercial license. Speaking of designers that offer commercial licenses, we have HPInvent, which was recommended to me by one of you, so thank you for that. Here, again, we have a wide range of designs, ranging from the minimalist to the geometric, each with a real-world purpose. If planters aren't your thing, then perhaps a beautiful candle holder, or a phone stand, or even a picture frame. What I love about HPInvent's designs is that he's really experimenting with all kinds of different ways to make 3D prints look and feel much more premium and far beyond just simple plastic. We're talking incredibly unique textures, unique surfaces, and patterns to obscure things like layer lines. Now, I don't know about you, but these are very much my wife's aesthetic, so I'll be printing a bunch of these out around my house. And best of all, it does seem like most of these designs are free for personal use. So enjoy, but as I always say, please don't forget to buy the designer a cup of coffee to help support further releases if you enjoy their work. Hey, how you doing? Are you enjoying the video so far? I think that was a yes. In that case, I should definitely let you know why we're able to make videos like this, and that is thanks to sponsors like today's PCBWay. You guys have heard me talk about PCBWay for literal years at this point, but for those of you who haven't, or if you just need a reminder, PCBWay is just your one-stop shop for anything fab, whether you need custom PCBs, injection molding, CNC machining, metal 3D printing, and much, much more. Real talk, guys, PCBWay is the business. Well, I mean, they are a business, but they're also the business. So check them out using a link in the description. You get like $5 off your first order. They make this channel possible thanks to PCBWay. Let's get back to the video. For our third section, let's take a look at some designers working on ways to upgrade your various 3D printers. First, a design team that I have featured extensively on the channel before, but without which this video list simply wouldn't be complete. And that's Christian and Nadir over at CN3D. Though their original breakout came when they started designing printable upgrades for Soval machines, they've since branched out. These days, they develop their own complete toolhead designs, multi-material systems, extruders, and much, much more. In fact, they've even partnered with companies like Funsor, Physec, and Big Tree Tech to develop their own products and boards. Most of their designs are available to download for free, but both Christian and Nadir aspire to support themselves and their families as full-time designers and creators, so please do consider joining their club on printables if you get value out of their work. Up next, we have CC3D, who, not to be confused with CN3D, also develops upgrades for popular 3D printers. Unlike many of the designers on this list, he sells his designs exclusively on his own website. So I'm grateful to those of you who suggested I check him out because, wow, just look at some of these designs. From enclosures for some of the most popular printers out there, to dry box upgrades, and even a fully 3D printable dry cabinet. Enrico of CC3D is like a mad scientist, developing crazy, fully 3D printed solutions that really push the limits of both the technology and your imagination. He's definitely best known for his designs that cater to the Bamboo Lab ecosystem, but personally, I'm most excited about the upcoming solutions he's developing for the Snapmaker U1 and the Prusa Core 1L. Speaking of the Core 1L, we just have to talk about Voxel 3D, who makes similar types of dry cabinets, enclosures, and filament management solutions, but specifically for the Prusa ecosystem. From his very popular Prusa enclosure for the Prusa XL, to the Core Box filament storage solution, to the much anticipated Inbox for the Prusa Index. These names are actually really clever. With Voxel 3D, there is something for every Prusa setup. And I really love how his designs include unlimited customizability and modularity. Also, I was happy to see that he's partnered with Blue Rolls to provide hardware and pre-cut acrylic panels for most of his designs, making them much easier to source and build. Definitely check the link in the description on this one though, because he has a lot of other designs that you'll want to check out as well. For our final section, I've saved possibly the best for last, because who doesn't love to 3D print a tool or piece of hardware for their next project? First up, we have VC Design, who has absolutely exploded onto the scene and dominated downloads on printables. With over 150 designs and a very distinctive style to his listings, you've definitely seen his work before. VC Design specializes in the types of hardware and gadgets that you would normally have to run out and buy or order online, but which 3D printing can save you with just as well. And I cannot tell you how many times his designs have saved me in a pinch, especially living in a country where hardware stores are closed on Saturdays. Here are a few that I find to be the most useful. Generously, the vast majority of VC Designs' models are available for free, but again, as with all these designers, please do consider joining their club if you get value out of their work. Now, moving on from hardware, let's take a look at some incredible tools that you simply won't believe you can 3D print, thanks to designer and fellow YouTube creator Chris Borge. Chris burst onto the scene a couple of years ago with his award-winning 3D printed ball vise, but since then he has developed quite a few incredible projects. These include a milling machine, a heatset insert torque arm, a lathe, a precision tapping arm, a drill press, and much, much more. Now, while I personally haven't gotten a chance to build any of Chris's designs yet, I will admit that I have been admiring his work from a distance for quite some time. What I love most about his designs is the fact that Chris isn't a purist about 3D printing. He uses the technology for what it's good at, but he's not afraid to mix in concrete, steel, or even store-bought components if it means a better end product. And just watching his videos has inspired me to experiment with those mediums as well. I would absolutely love to try one of these builds out, so if you'd like to see that in an upcoming video, do me a favor and drop a comment down below and tell me which of the tools you're most interested in learning more about. Up next, a designer that sits somewhere in between all the different categories in this video. It's part printer upgrades, part home decor, and a whole lot of workshop organization. I'm talking, of course, about Jerrari. Best known for his many bin and drawer solutions, Jerrari has created a rich and vibrant ecosystem of 3D printed workshop solutions which are infinitely customizable to suit your needs. Personally, I've been using his spool rewinder design for years, but with 250 free models, he has a lot more to offer than just drawers and organizers. I mean, have a look. Again, I've said this a few times, but it bears repeating. We'll leave links in the description so you can check their stuff out. Just make sure to support the people whose designs you find value in. And finally, let's be honest, no video about designers building functional stuff would be complete without mentioning my friend Jonathan, aka Keep Making, the designer behind Multiboard. Originally just a multifunctional pegboard alternative, Multiboard has really grown up into a sort of multi-purpose building system, complete with bins, vertical storage, horizontal adaptations, shelves, and much, much more. But the reason I included Jonathan on this list of designers pushing the limits is not what Multiboard is, but rather how it works. First of all, it's designed in a very deliberate way, maximizing print orientation to deliver incredible strength. What's more, many of the parts use very innovative techniques such as folding, flat printing, or bolt locking to circumvent the traditional limits of 3D printing. If you haven't looked into Multiboard, you really should, because it's a masterclass in how to design specifically for 3D printing. It's no wonder that Multiboard won me over from all of the other different 3D printed organization systems, and why it ultimately took over my home, my studio, and my life. I actually did an entire video about that, which you can watch right here somewhere. And make sure to get subscribed, because we're already working on a video that'll help both beginner and intermediate Multiboard users alike make sense of and master this ever-growing ecosystem. That's all for this week, but I'll see all of you on the next layer.